Okay, we'll call this, we have a little bit of a change of plans this evening because we were short a quorum at the 4 o'clock work session. And so we're going to change things up a little bit. We have a couple of items we'd like to get out of the way on a work session. So we're going to have 2 items. One of them's on a summer reading program, and the other is a report on downtown vision before we go into the regular session. So these items should probably take less than 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll go into the regular session. So sorry for the inconvenience, and we'll start by asking John Hayden to come up and give us a report on the reading program.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and the City Council. Appreciate you coming tonight just to give you a little update. I get to use the mouse too. Awesome. So just a little summer reading overview, really kind of give you some stats, look at from like 2019 till now. And these are the total readers we've had. 2020 was the pandemic year. They still did virtual. Mostly everything was virtual then. If you look, our numbers are growing. In 2019, we had 472 altogether. That's including adults all the way to 2 years old. So that's kind of our summer reading program and our challenge. So then now we had 580 this year sign up and register. So our numbers are growing. I can see them continuing growing up into upward the way we want it to be. So it's exciting. And we do see that the 7 to 12-year-old, we had more one year than we had the other year. We had 249 in 2019, but this year we had 195. But it's good to see that because teens are really growing. We had 61 teens. That's a lot and it's been that way for years. So it's really exciting to see those numbers going up. The next slide you'll see is talking about the minutes read. The first year in 2019, they talk about all the minutes read, and now it's about reading pages, how many pages are read. We didn't get to the million because with the million pages, they had to dunk me in a dunk tank, but I let them do it anyway. But we read, there was 965,225 pages read this summer with adults and youth. And you notice the youth did beat the adults again. They've done the past couple of years, but this kind of gives you comparisons from the past years to today. And we're growing that way as well. It's also going in incline and it's going up, and we're excited about that and those numbers. And all these pictures here are all about our summer reading program. Every picture on these slides about some activity that happened this summer. The next slide really talks about our participants, those who come to our programs. Last year, the adults had and I just really compared last year to this year. Last year, we had 18 programs for adults. We had 35 this year, so we had a lot more programs, and we had a lot more participants. We had 70 participants come in our activities, and this year we had 276 adults participating in any type of activity. Because this could be more than just those signing up for a reading program, because it's 2 different things. They could sign up online through Reader Zone to read pages, but these are people who come to like a program, to one of our programs. Like, for example, our Touch a Truck program, we had like over 500 people with that. And I appreciate everybody a lot of the city departments, GEUS, AirEvac, Hunt County, a lot of people were involved with that. Petty's Towing was there, Game Warden was there. And so it was really exciting to have all those at that. So you can see the programs, our youth programs last year at 24, we had 27, not too many more, but we doubled our numbers. We had about 948 last year. This year we had close to 3,000 people come in to participate in our summer reading. We're thankful that we did not have any educational performers last year. This year I went out and asked a few businesses to sponsor. I know GEUS is one of them. They sponsored the Woodland to the Wild, which is an animal show. They're from Cattle Mills, just right down the road. They're a group from Cattle Mills that show birds and train birds. And it was really great. They had owl and everything showing the kids. Wildlife on the Move, I think the Animal Medical Center sponsored them, and then we had a Farmers Electric Cooperation also sponsored a couple of our shows. So it was great. So you can see that participation is great. I think it's also going to go higher and higher this next summer. We're planning hopefully to have more programs, and we're not going to do the Touch a Truck in the middle of June when it's hot. We'll hopefully do that in the beginning because it was really hot. I had a lot of our city employees telling me, don't do it in the summer again. So we will not do that because it was hot. But it was a great turnout, having 503 people there, being able to sit on trucks and be able to see the helicopter land. That was exciting. You can see the joy in the faces. So that's really the summer reading is all about. And we're able to get those sponsors to sponsor those last 4 educational performers from the city, businesses that sponsored them like GEUS. That was exciting to be able to do that. And we do that through connections we had, relationships we had through our staff. And also I'm part of Kiwanis, so I had some connections with that. Also Alliance Bank, they sponsored the dunk tank because I told them we'd get it anyway if we didn't have a million pages. And so this slide just kind of shows you all the sponsors we had, our financial sponsors, and then a lot of businesses also donated gift cards and coupons as well to give out to the kids, give out to those. Like we had a bunch of Dairy Queen coupons for free Sunday. We had Majeka Cinema sent us some coupons, QT free drinks from QT, free drink cups. I mean, you can get extra large if you wanted to. Splash Kingdom gave us some tickets. Whataburger gave us a free burger and stuff for kids. So, I mean, it was great to have the opportunity to be able to get the businesses involved and help out with our summer reading. So that's what I'm all about, is connecting to the area and the community. And so that kind of gives you, I like that. I showed the last picture because it's the two kids. They were really excited, and you can see, if you can't see it really well, but they had smile. They were really having fun. Again, that was from Parks and Rec. Getting to sit on that more. And they were clean, so they cleaned them for that. So it was really nice. But that kind of gives you an overview of our summer reading program very quickly. We had a great turnout, and I think that we have lots to do still. We're going to be evaluating it this next week or so. Our staff is to look at what else we can do for the summer. Because most people know the summer slide is important to show kids how important reading is, and literacy is so important. Because in the summer, sometimes we quit reading. When they go back, you see the grade changes sometimes. They're not being able to read in the summer. So we also challenge adults to read as well. So if you have any questions about the summer reading program at all, I just wanted to quickly go through that.
I don't have any questions, but I do want to say great job, especially that we're in a technical kind of phase and era in our life. Everything is so digital. It's good to know that we have programs for the community to get people out their house and get everybody off the games and off the iPads and actually reading, because that's very, very, very important, especially when, like you say, you're transitioning from being at home all summer long and then going into school. A lot of kids don't have the opportunity to have that practice in the summer with reading. So great job with the presentation. Looking at the numbers, I'm very impressed, especially again because we're a digital world.
Right.
And a lot of people only think that kids only play games and stay stuck on YouTube, but knowing that we're feeding them valuable information and they're having fun while learning, that's great. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun. I'm excited to be able to do it again next summer. We're planning early too. I told Summer of the day we're going to start in January, have it all done and ready to go by January.
Thank you very much, John. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Thank you
work,
all.
John.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I'd like to we have a celebrity in our audience tonight. I'd like for our state rep, Brian Slayton, to stand. We'd like to welcome you to our meeting tonight, and we certainly appreciate you coming. So thank you very much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Downtown Vision 2022. Latora, would you like to give us an update, please?
Thank you, Mayor. We have a brief presentation that Abra, the consultant, will give. We have gone through the first phase of the design, the downtown plan, which was the analysis phase, where they did like an existing conditions analysis and a project website, things on social media, downtown studio interviews, different things to engage the community. And they're headed towards kind of the vision and the plan development stage. And so they're going to give you a update of what is happening thus far. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Happy to be here tonight for a quick check-in. Let's see what screen I'm working with here. So my name's Abra Nusser, and I'm with Peloton Land Solutions. I'm the project manager for the consultant team for the Greenville Downtown Master Plan. This is just a quick City Council check-in tonight. It's been a very rewarding process so far. We've had very meaningful feedback. We've had a great level of engagement, both online, in person, on the phone, you name it. So our favorite has been the Downtown Design Studio, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. So 4 main groups that we've been involving: the community at large. They've had a survey with the comp plan that included some downtown questions. And then they've had online opportunities, and you guys as well, you're part of the community. And then on demand, so we've got a comment question form, and of course we can be reached at any time. Steering committee has 3 workshops included in our scope of work. We've had 2 already. So we have 1 upcoming that I'm going to talk about in a second. And then also, of course, their involvement at the Downtown Design Studio. City leadership, that includes you guys and staff and P&Z, but also engaging you guys, hoping that you've seen the online idea wall and whatnot, but also the Downtown Design Studio that we had. And then in the stakeholders. So, we had a great level of engagement on the stakeholder interviews as well. Project website is up if you haven't gotten a chance to look at it, dtgreenvilletx.com. As you can see, a little microscopic screenshot on the left there, which you're not supposed to be able to read. We have a big, bold ideas wall, and we've had a lot of great conversation on there. You can thumbs up, thumbs down, make comments, and so we've had a lot of great engagement on there, but also project description and other things. So we did have the steering committee workshop number 1 in May, where we just kicked off, got everyone's feedback on what would make it a successful plan for them. Steering committee workshop number 2 was combined with the stakeholder workshop per committee direction, and that really established the downtown boundary and some of the design elements that everyone was looking for. And then we had our design studio in July. So we are here tonight with the City Council check-in, just feedback to date. We have the steering committee meeting number 3 coming up. You can see a little microscopic graphic there of potential sub-areas that we're going to talk about with the committee. And then we have a joint P&Z and City Council meeting on September 26th, so we'll be back in front of you again then. Week of Thanksgiving, we plan on posting the draft plan online, letting people kind of review it during the holidays and, the week after if they, we're out of town and whatnot. So maybe we can be thankful for the downtown master plan draft. That's kind of how we're going. And then P&Z recommendation December, City Council adoption January is what we're targeting per our direction. So fast timeline, but this is what we all agreed to kind of head towards that potential financing discussion in February. So this was the downtown boundary that's been established by the steering committee, the draft downtown boundary. It was kind of solidified at the downtown design studio. So you can see it's a bigger area than what we had before. And there's going to be different sub areas. So you're going to have your core and then other areas that would have various character. Some themes that have come out: diverse land use, people really looking for housing, shopping, dining, entertainment, arts and culture, murals, people love them, people have comments on them. Lee and Washington Street, oh my goodness, there's never a bigger theme than Lee Street in this project, so that's something that we're going to be tackling, and we've been doing analysis on. Tech dots in the works. Trucks in downtown, another big theme. They're loud, they're dirty, they're unsafe, and rerouting. So working on that. Local business support and historic preservation. Just some pictures of the downtown design studio. If you haven't gotten a chance to look at the recap, it is online. So at the website. So it's got a lot of good information about how we got to where we are today. Mobility and connectivity priorities. Number 1, recreation. People are looking to have a fun time downtown, trails, sidewalks, just connected destination, but also the economy and function. These were catalyst sites that came out of the downtown design studio. Again, this is all online in the event recap. So this is stuff that not only steering committee members have worked on who came to the downtown design studio, but also city leadership and various community members. So this one is obviously Lee Street, something we need to tackle with TxDOT, but new design, possibly having conversations with them about, the city taking on ownership. There's a lot of moving pieces to that, but pedestrian lighting, intersection treatments, all that fun stuff. Wesley and Jordan came out as and again, you're not supposed to see the detail here, just talking conceptually, but a potential event plaza, Jordan Street gathering amenity, maybe with a stage and some art, and then some lined shops and an enhanced spot, our little smart park. So, modernizing that and incorporating it into a larger space. Again, this is all from the downtown design studio and in the recap. And then Oak Street, there was a lot of feedback about shutting that down to vehicular traffic, because it's not a through street. It doesn't go all the way north and south like Wesley or some of those others, but making those pedestrian plazas and then a development opportunity up here at the Herald Banner site possibly. So just a few little appetizers that we're going to be discussing with the committee and seeing if they want to move forward with these, and we can at that point render them and make them more official catalyst sites if they would like to move forward with them. Park destination here on the south side, including the jail. So that's been a topic that property seems to be in flux according to the county. So either part of a trailhead type concept or possibly a development opportunity through the EDC. So just keeping that in mind, and then a big gateway possibly on that southern side to make a grand entrance into downtown. and then a regional park possibly. So steering committee workshop number 3, like I said, they're going to be diving into these character areas and figuring out if they kind of agree or want to refine with what we have drafted. The mobility framework, kind of designating type A, type B, type C streets, and then those catalyst projects. Are those ones that they want us to further develop for the draft plan, or is there something they would like to see instead? And then big moves. So top 10, what do we need to tackle? Kind of just, we're not going to go over every action at the steering committee meeting number 3, but want to get their feedback on the big pieces and see if we're headed in the right direction. And then next steps, just to recap. So we're currently working on the design and infrastructure assessment with city staff, with TxDOT. I'm going to be presenting some of those things to the committee for their consideration on September 15th. And of course to you guys when we come back on September 26th for the joint meeting to go over draft concepts and highlights. So whatever we come out of the steering committee meeting with will basically be their recommendation. They will be recommending those draft concepts and highlights, and we'll update it if need be coming out of that meeting and present it to you guys and say, you know, this is the recommendation of the steering committee. This is what we've worked together to put together. And then draft plan online, November, P&Z December, City Council adoption January. So I tried to keep it brief, but happy to answer any questions or receive any direction you might have for us.
Any questions? Anybody?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say, being that I went to the downtown studio and just seeing the interaction between the community, seeing how we all had different concepts and ideas for what we wanted for downtown. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity and encourage those who are watching online and those of you who are in here, go to that website, read it, know what we're trying to do here in this city. It's not just a one-time thing. This is all of our ideas coming together to make our downtown better. So those are everybody who has something to say, whether positive or negative, I highly, highly, highly recommend go to the website, voice your concerns, state your comments, but see what we're trying to do here in downtown and how we can make it better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, at this time, would the council like to take a break before we go into regular session, or are we ready to go? Anybody need a break? Okay. Okay, at this time, I'll call the regular session, I'll close the work session and call the regular session to order with the invocation from Reverend Ezra McCarthy. Please come forward. Yes. Thank you.
Dear Jesus, thank you for this opportunity to come and have this time of working together as a city. I pray that you'd help each one that's going to be making the decisions today. I pray that your will be done as they go forward with your presence. Even meet with us here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. And I think there is a presentation on the agenda, but as I understand, the representative's not here tonight, so we'll skip that. And you'll notice on your agenda, if you have one, there's placeholders for citizens to be heard and public testimony. Citizens to be heard are invited to address the council on items that are not otherwise scheduled for public hearing or on the agenda. A public testimony is for citizens to be invited to address the council on items tonight, starting with item 7. What would it be? 7A, ordinances. If you'd like to address the council, please complete a citizen's comment card and present it to the city secretary. Move right along to item 6A, consideration and action on an ordinance and a request by SOP. Oh, are there citizens to be heard?
Yes,
They're
Betty
all-
Franklin.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening to the Honorable Mayor, City Manager, and City Council Representative. Oh, my name is Betty Franklin, 1811 King Street. I just want to take this time to say thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for reinvesting, taking the time to reinvest in North Greenville. You came out and you attended our ribbon cutting a ceremony for the Austin park, and I'm so excited. And I cannot stand here and without acknowledging the work of the Park and Recreational Department. And I want to thank them as well. We, the people in the community, we love our little park. And I just want to say thank you. The children play, they're having a good time. We see people out on the pickleball court, and this is so nice. And the basketball court. The children are not on the streets, they are at the park gathering and doing activities, and I'm so excited about that. I only have one little issue, and I know it's a text dot issue, but maybe somebody have pulled with text dot. The sign that say children at play is old. And sometimes the drivers are a little fast in that area. I know it's 30 miles an hour, but sometimes they're a little fast. And we have small children at the park. As a safety measure, a preventive measure, I'm just wondering if in-house can make us a nice sign, bright sign that can say children at play. And that was something that I would love to see. The other thing I have to say, I would like very much for us to have little benches in the future to acknowledge the contribution of the teachers and the educators at the old Austin School and dedicate it in the memories of so many wonderful teachers there. I didn't grow up in Greenville, but I know of one wonderful teacher, Miss Dorothy Smith, but there's many others that we can acknowledge. And I would love us to have the little benches and acknowledge the educators that was there, a part of Austin School. Thank you.
Thank you. Are
That's
there
all.
other citizens? Okay, sorry. Thank you, Ms. Franklin. We'll move right on to item 6A, consideration and action on an ordinance on a request by Sai Patel for a change in zoning from commercial district to multifamily 1 district on property located at 1216 I-30. Steve.
How are y'all this evening?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yes, this is United Housing. I know y'all are familiar with it. He's requesting to go to a multifamily zoning. His intent is, I believe, to build 70 kind of single efficiency type apartments. I think there'll be a few units that may be 2-bedroom and a few units, or 1 unit that'll be a 3-bedroom. He's in the process now of putting a fence around the property until he can get going with the project. He stated that, if he could get zoning approval, he would try to pull a permit within 2 or 3 months, and the project should take about 9 months to finish and be ready for rental. Sent out 7 letters to adjoining property owners. I didn't get any response either for or against. I took this item to Planning and Zoning last Monday night, and they recommended approval of the zoning change by a vote of 8-1. So some of the items that were brought up was, we've been looking at this eyesore for a long time, and we need to do something with it. If we change the zoning to multifamily, it does give us the opportunity to see if he's going to be able to pull it off or not. So I think if we continue just to leave it commercial, we're going to continue to keep working what we've been working with for years now. So here's an opportunity to give Mr. Patel, his property, an opportunity to do something with it. So I think we need to see if he will do it. If he doesn't, then we need to keep on moving on. But it's an opportunity to do something with we haven't had, but we did get a positive recommendation from Planning and Zoning
Are
Commission.
there any questions for Steve regarding this? If there are no questions, thank you, Steve. We have included in executive session the opportunity to go into executive session in this. I have no reason to do it. Does anyone on the council like to request that at this time? You want an executive session for this? Yes. Nobody wants to? No, sir. Okay. Mr. Freeman? Mr. Cruz? I don't think he can hear me. But anyway. Oh, he did, okay. Okay, so would the applicant like to come forward and speak about this, please?
Good evening, everybody. Sai Patel here to speak on behalf of this property. As y'all are aware, we've had this property for quite some time. It was a former full-service hotel, And since it's lost its certificate of occupancy, we've been strapped with what we can really do with it. We tried at one point to try and bring it back into a hotel, but zoning ordinances do not allow for that anymore, considering the structure. All things have ultimately led us bringing back to, an attempt to bring it back to life, and our plan is to bring it back to life as a multifamily unit because the existing structure best supports that. We've provided architectural plans, MEP plans have been submitted with the city, and we're looking to see if we can pull something on this and get some action going on it and get it done. So,
Any questions for Mr. Patel? Okay, thank you very much. If not, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone like to speak either for or against this item? There are no cards, okay. There being no cards, what is the pleasure of the council regarding this item? Any comments? Is this my notes?
It's yours. It's yours.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Please vote. I'd like to vote for it if you can.
Go to point it at Carl.
Okay, I did. And it passes 4-1. Okay. Next item, 6B, consideration and action on an ordinance on a request by Timothy Davis for a conditional use permit. I'm sorry, did I miss something? Okay. In single-family 2 zoning on property located at 3602 Briscoe Street. Steve?
Yes, sir. This is, Mr. Davis is seeking a conditional use permit for, we call it an accessory dwelling, I believe is the way the zoning ordinance calls it. In the field, we call it a mother-in-law suite. But basically, you like that, huh? To me, it'd be called the doghouse. That's probably where I'd be. But if you look at the property, it's on the corner of Up the Grove and Briscoe. He's got a small garage in the back. GISD is along this property line here. At any rate, it's a garage that he doesn't use, and he wants to convert this into basically an efficiency apartment for his mom. And I have to respect that. He wants to take care of his mother and have her close. We've done this many times, but it does require a conditional use permit, and you can put any kind of caveats on it you want. It cannot be used for, you can't rent it. If something happens to her, he won't be able to use it for anything else. It's specifically for this purpose here. I sent letters out to 21 property owners around this property. Only got 2 responses back. Both of them were in favor of doing it. It'll be finished out. I don't have those here, but it'll be finished out. It'll match the house, kind of look like the house. Mr. Davis works for the city, by the way. He's in IT, and I asked him what he would do with it when something happens on down the road. He said he might use it for an IT shop, but he said the same thing. Maybe a doghouse too. Yeah. You know how that goes. But I did take this to planning and zoning last Monday. They recommended approval by 8, and then I had 1 abstain, and that's because he has a relationship with Mr. Davis. So without that, I think it would have been 9-1. I think it makes sense. We've done this many times, and of course we'll have to inspect it and go with it as it goes. So staff also recommend approval of it.
Any questions for Steve?
Is this like by the middle school, like the Phillipsville area?
Yeah, right down there in that back corner.
Oh, okay.
You know, their property goes down there. It doesn't really have any neighbors except across the street, and they're kind of sideways, and so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, really. But
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Tim, would you like to come up and address the council regarding this issue?
I just wanted to come before the council just to let you know that we're, since my dad passed, I'm doing my best to just take care of my family, my mom, and trying to decide exactly how best to do that. This was presented as an option that we've diligently pursued, and feel like, speaking with my mother, the rest of the family, this is what everyone would like to do. It allows her to stay close to us, her grandchildren. Allows us in her twilight years to be able to be close and to just have a better eye on her as her health perhaps declines, but still gives her a level of independence that she really desires. So we just like to seek the council's approval for that. Thank you.
So, I believe I do have to open the public hearing, and I would assume there's no one here to speak for or against this item, so having opened it, I'll close it. And what is the pleasure of the council regarding this item 6B?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, please vote. And it passes 5-0. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Ordinance 7, consideration and action on an ordinance authorizing Morgan Street and the remaining intersections on Wesley Street to be added to the $50 million street bond project. Press.
Good evening. Yes, sir, we talked about as we took this to the Transportation Committee, we'd like to add Morgan Street, which is in front of Reese Davis. Honestly, we knew it was not in great shape, but with all the traffic and everything going there, it's deteriorated a lot faster than we anticipated. So we'd like to go ahead and add that to the bond issue and get that going. And also, I think we've had very good success with the intersections of our side streets with Wesley by doing the concrete on it, and we'd like to continue that program also. So that's what we're asking for, to add this to the bond issue so we can start working on these.
And I'll say, as chairman of the Transportation Committee, we recommended this unanimously. So, are there any questions for press regarding this issue? If there are no questions, I'll open this up for public testimony. Are there any public testimony regarding this issue? There being none, what is the pleasure of the council regarding this issue?
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. Okay, item 8A, resolutions, consideration and action on a resolution approving the 2023 annual work plan for the Greenville Board of Development and the 4A Economic Development Corporation. Greg Sims.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is our time of year to come before you for our plan of work. Just want to say quickly, thank you very much to our board, our chairman, Sean Franklin, our vice chairperson over here, Holly Gray, our secretary treasurer, Jerry Morris, David Ellis, Tim Dooley, Chet Haney, and Barry Gluck. So thank you very much for your appointments to our board. They've all done great work this past year. They've looked at this plan of work for about 3 times. They approved it last Tuesday, and it's before you for approval. You've had it in your packet, and I'll just answer any questions to save some time. So.
Are there any questions?
Looks like a great plan, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on this. I was at the meeting when you presented this, and I think it's some of the changes you made are very good. So, anyway, is there anyone that would like to speak either in favor or is there any comments on this plan? Okay, there being none, what's the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
And there's a second. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. Item 8B, consideration and action on a resolution approving the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget for the Greenville Board of Development and the Greenville 4A Economic Development Corporation. Greg.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, this is, again, the approval process related to our EDC laws and our bylaws for the council to approve our budget. The board has looked at our budget and gone over it for 3 or 4 times meetings, and they approved it last Tuesday and submitted. But I do want to kind of highlight one thing that kind of was pretty amazing. But since 2013 to 2021, our sales tax has increased 92%. Can you believe that? 92%. So, you know, fantastic job by previous boards and city councils and the whole community, developers and folks on, making a very positive impact on our community. And, not only does this help the Board of Development, but it helps the city as well as the county. So congratulations to everyone on that. Anyway, as submitted, again, I'll answer any questions if there are any, Mayor.
Greg, I had one question,
Sure.
please. Excuse me. Of course, I attended your last meeting, and during executives, I left just before your executive session. How did you guys roll with the part about the railroad repair within the city?
Yes, we asked the board. You know, I'm a board member from NETEX. I'm appointed by the county. Myself and Commissioner Hutchins, the county appointed us to be on the NETEX railroad. And without getting into a long story about the railroad, it's been in existence for about 30 years. It's a nonprofit railroad. It goes physically, the physical rail goes from Greenville, 65 miles to basically Mount Pleasant. And the UP yard in Winfield serves this line. And this line is operated by 6 counties, 6-county board, 2 persons from each county, from Collin County all the way out to Franklin County. The primary beneficiaries of the NETEX railroad line is Hunt County and Hopkins County. About 80 to 90% of any freight that's moved on that line is delivered to businesses in Greenville, in Hunt County, Commerce, and then also in Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs. The railroad is a nonprofit railroad created by the state legislature, by the Rural Rail District, that was created back in the 1990s to prevent these railroads from being just abandoned by the for-profit railroad companies, because the state recognized that these railroads meant something to the rural communities, and we're still considered rural. And so this railroad is definitely a very important, vital, important infrastructure piece for companies like Masonite, has over 300 employees. We've got FSTI uses it. We have Ames Recycling uses it. Royal Oak uses it. A.B. Maury, Feeders Supply down here, downtown, and so on and so forth. And we have vacant land. The biggest parcel of land for development the Board of Development owns is on the NETEX line. So the unfortunate thing is this infrastructure cannot be repaired through the normal bonding process that when cities repair roads, water, sewer, you can issue bonds to repair those things. This facility does not have that ability. And so it cannot be, it's a non-taxing authority. So the only revenue that can be generated off of it is only for rail revenue. So they have to look at state grants or TxDOT grants or some other grant proposals to bring in any type of revenue funds that can help this track. And so this track has 78 bridges, and so it's an old track. It's been kept in the last classification, they call it accepted track. It's been kept in that condition to run freight on it. And so the FRA, which is the Federal Railroad Administration, governs all railroads in the nation. They have to certify it to run freight on it or to run any passenger trains on it. It's certified, so there's no problem there. The problem is the trains can only go 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it takes all day for the train to go from Mount Pleasant to serve a company in Greenville. And so there's been estimates of $30 to $40 million on rehabbing that need to rehab it to a Class 1 status, which, you know, the Class 1 will get you up to about 40 miles an hour. But that is a lot of bridge reinforcement, ties and ballast, they call it, and then stakes and things like that. So, and the ballast, you know, tons and tons of the gravel, that's what's called ballast, and the wooden ties need to be replaced. So, you know, in an effort to continue the economic development efforts, since we have so many companies and employees of those companies and that are paying taxes, not only here for their property taxes, but they're GEUS customers, they're water and sewer customers of the city, and their employees, a lot of them live here, they own homes here, they raise their families here. The board felt like that, you know, we need to help. It's a small Band-Aid. It's like the flea on an elephant. But they suggested, and staff suggested, the board agreed that we would put in our budget this year as a stopgap measure for any rail that had any issues or problems within the city limits of Greenville, that we would put $100,000 in our budget to be used for repair. So if we have something wrong with the track, either the timber, we have ballast that needs to be replaced, or crossings, something that's that sort, that we would be ready to repair that railroad. So the board put in, we can use 4A funds for that because it is logistics related to business. And so that's the 100,000, that extra 100,000 that's in this budget. And that, I think, is that complete your answer? I'm sorry it was long.
No, and that's city only.
Yeah, city limits. We can go beyond the city limits, basically the city limits. We can go to our ETJ. So like our rail on our property is in the ETJ. It's not in the city limits in the county. So, we'll have it there, and the fund would be there if you approve it. The fund will be there if, anyone on there, let's say we have, a problem anywhere along that track. I've had an estimate. I'll tell you that I've got an estimate about, it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. It was pre-COVID, on that section of track that's basically runs through downtown. So it runs out to east of downtown and runs through east-west out to our industrial park, kind of along 380. To get that section to Class 1 status, which is really good, was about $4 million about 4 years ago. So I'm sure that number's gone up just to get that track to Class 1. So $100,000 is just a help if there's any problem where they need to go in there and replace some ties. Sulphur Springs gives money to the general fund out of their 4A fund. They give money to the whole railroad. So, if there's any problems that occur there. And, our fund would be only used for, in the purpose of, if there's something that happens where, the NETEX doesn't have a lot of money. And so, we're kind of saying we're taking care of our own over here, having, depend on the board that doesn't have a lot of money to help out over here. That's what I'm trying to do. Yes, sir. I don't know. It's up to them. So that's up to their, I know what Sulphur Springs is putting in a rail spur. They're spending about $2 million putting in a rail spur that they're going to own, that they'll put in for their freight over there in Sulphur Springs. That's the largest amount of the city related to that. So it goes through, Collin County is on the board. They don't have any rail. They have right of way. It goes Hunt County, Hopkins County, Delta County, and then Titus County and Franklin County. And so the other, Titus County and Franklin County really don't have any customers on the line, even though they're on the board. So, but Hopkins County is putting in $2 million. I'm not asking y'all to do $2 million, so.
But I was just thinking that, if we just fix our side and the other cities don't fix their side, we're gonna be up the creek.
Can be, but there are other logistics reasons for doing that, because we have the DG&O here. So the DG&O can come out of Mesquite and can bring freight and drop it in the DG&O yard, which is downtown. You know where it's at. Yeah. So they can drop freight. If it ever happens, we have a bridge go out between Greenville and, to your point, Greenville to the east. There is a possibility of bringing the freight, dropping it in the DG&O yard, and then the Freedom operator, which is Freedom Rail Group, which operates on the NETEX, they can have an engine here to pick it up out of the DG&O yard and just take it down to our customers. And so there is a way to do that. But the problem with that right now is you've got 3 rail carriers involved, because they have to cross the KCS to do it. So they have to get permission from the KCS to do it. And then you got another railroad that wants a piece of the pie, DG&O, of every freight that comes around. So eventually everything gets the money. So, good question though. That was a good question.
Yeah, I knew it was. Tell me we fix ours. But
Well,
fix theirs.
yeah, and that's what I wasn't willing to do, is take $100,000 and give it to the NETEX board to say, spend it anywhere on the line. I wasn't willing to do that. If we're going to use our money, let's fix it in our railroad we own. So that's what I was recommending.
Okay, any other questions for Greg?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your explanation. There being no public testimony, okay, what is the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Okay, the motion is second, please vote. Okay, and it passes 5-0. Item 8C, consideration action on a resolution accepting $2,500 in 2022 Texas Book Festival Library Grant.
Hey again. Yeah, we recently, by the way, I have the check right here in my hands, by the way. So we recently got we're a member of we got a Textbook Festival award us a grant for $2,500 and we're going to be using that to get the Spanish collection in our library, have more Spanish books in our collection. So that's when we're going to use that $2,500. So I got the little thing. I got that in the mail yesterday. We just got this in the mail yesterday. So we'll be able to show that and probably have an article about that and everything. So just wanted to, the staff recommends that you guys accept this grant. I think it's a great grant. I think this, Christy kind of put this together, give her the credit of putting this. I think we got it last year as well, if I remember right. So that we got it again. And usually don't get it twice in a row like that. So we're lucky for that. So it's a blessing for our library to be able to have that money.
Any questions for John regarding this issue? Okay, no public testimony. Okay, what is the pleasure of the council? Okay, there's motions, second.
And I would second.
There's a motion, a second, please vote. And that passes 5-0. Item 8D, consideration action on a resolution accepting a $7,000 grant from Public Library Association.
Yeah, we recently applied for a digital literacy grant from the PLA, which is the Public Library Association, and then it's all funded by AT&T. I had a webinar today about that, and so we were able to give $7,000 to do incentive to have workshops, which all the materials online through digitallearning.org. So we can go online and do all the trainings online. So we're just going to be able, really the money is to do incentives to buy like laptops, tablets, even snacks, and even incentives like gift cards to bring people in to like giveaways so they come in. We're like, hey, so we want to do this for seniors, Spanish population, and just and also for youth as well to do all different type of computer basics, internet basics, email basics, some of the basics that a lot of people still struggle with, but we still can't help them with their password or their email. That's something we get asked every day, but can't do that because we don't know their password. But so that grant's going to be used for that. Those workshops will, after tonight, hopefully you'll accept this grant that the workshops will start up next month. And we have to have so many workshops done by December. Then we have to have like so many learners, so many people coming. So it'll be marketed. And also the money will be used for marketing and publicity as well.
Good deal.
Any questions for John?
No, sir.
Oh, it's like your creativity.
Yeah.
We had 100 and I think it was 160 libraries. We got that grant. Only 10 in the state of Texas received that grant.
When you get that password seminar, give me a call.
Yeah, okay. I'll get that for you.
Yeah. Okay, is there any public testimony regarding this issue? No. So what is the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve.
Please vote.
Second.
Motion is second, please vote.
Thank you very much.
And it
John.
passes 5-0. I'd like to ask the city secretary to read the consent calendar, item 9, A and B.
City Council meeting minutes from August 9th and a resolution approving a 3D printer policy for the library.
Okay, you have these items before you. Is there public testimony regarding either of these issues? Okay, items. What is the pleasure of the council regarding the consent calendar?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is second, please vote. And it passes 5-0. We have the city staff, city council reports, the monthly status report, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As Carol's pulling this up, just a reminder, this is not much has changed. Pretty much all the numbers you'll see are pretty the same that they were last month, so this is just going to update you a little bit here. On the Waste Connections complaint log, July was just slightly higher than June for first complaints, a little bit higher on the second complaint, so I'm still working through those issues. Utility cuts, last month were 45, now they're 47. These are the ones that our contractors are helping us out with. In-house pothole repairs, those were slightly higher, actually, almost up to back where we were repairing in April. So that's went from 32 in June to 61. Street sweeping, we're about the same, 42 miles last month in June, July in 39 miles. And then the mowed areas, those continue to be mowed just like they normally would. Town Branch Creek, the Robic Lane areas, and then the Monty Stratton areas as well. And then intersections, cleared about the same amount of intersections. Obviously, the growing season has helped that a little bit. This rain will probably jump those weeds back up to being green, unfortunately. So we'll be mowing in the next couple of weeks. Thankfully, the weather shouldn't be too terribly hot. Signs replaced 40 signs in July. I don't know a particular reason why those were a little bit, actually 34 to 40 from last month, but replaced quite a bit of signs there. And then the raw water line, the design is about at the same. Still working on procuring some more pipe, working on that every single day, so not much has changed there from last month. So I'll take any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions for the city
No more
manager?
status on the pipe?
No, unfortunately,
It's kinda
no.
like my
No,
windows.
no, I know. You know, prices have leveled off a little bit, so they're not quite, escalating as fast. But, we still, things are leveling off for right now, but that could change tomorrow, next month, whatever the market's seeing, so.
We are getting a little bit more activity on the pipe. We've been talking to several extruders, and they're actually talking to us now.
I guess you call that improvement. That's improvement, I guess. Yeah.
Press, I was afraid you made him mad or something.
With Waste Connections, the second attempt, second complaint is high, I guess a little bit for July. Is it the same complaints? Or are they different complaints?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look on the report. I just gave you guys kind of the snapshot and the graph of it, and so I'd have to go back and look on the actual report on the worksheet. I mean, it's a pretty long worksheet to see actually what the second complaints were. If they were mostly with pickup or if they were with toters, I'd have to go back and look. I don't know off the top of my head, but I could definitely look if you needed me to. So.
And are these complaints, are these like the same customers complaining or new customers? Or is it kind of hard to tell?
No, it has the addresses on there from just glancing at it. It's
They have the data, yeah.
yeah, they have all the data. I'm not seeing, some of them are repeat. When they get to my office, they're probably repeat.
Okay.
That's been happening for quite a long time, but just on those normal ones, it's kind of different. I think that when they have, especially kind of what I've noticed, especially when they have new people that start in a new neighborhood, they might not know, okay, this person puts their can here, or they put their can here, or, if they're told, oh, it's too close to this, then they don't even, get out and move it and do all those kind of things. So when they have new people that go to new areas, that's when I kind of see like those second and third complaints that instead, I guess it's just that training aspect that they're having to train them. The guys that have been in the same neighborhoods, you don't really necessarily see those second and third complaints as much. They kind of get it fixed that first time. So I think just that turnover, I think, is affecting it more than anything, just from my perspective.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we can look and I can see what those second complaints are, because they are substantially higher. They haven't been really that high since probably looks like maybe February and December, when those second complaints were so high. So I'll go back and look and see in the data, because it's listed out. It's a big long worksheet. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, item 11, city council discussion of proposed agenda items. Is there any discussion or proposed agenda items?
We can hear you.
Can't hear him. We can't hear you, Tim. I don't know what's wrong with the audio, but,
Can you hear me better now?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of the status report, I've heard a lot of complaints with GEUS, with meter reading, and I would like to start to see GEUS power and GEUS internet complaint logs added. It sounds like they're short-staffed in meter reading, and they're estimating meters, and the prices are awfully high right now to a lot of the citizens. So to get that more in line, I'd like to have them have more accountability, and we can add that to the monthly report. or to the status report. I, for one, submitted a complaint online in May about the quality of my internet connection with GEUS, and had not heard anything. And over the last week, I've submitted 3 more online forms due to poor quality or no service at all, and I've had no correspondence with GEUS whatsoever.
So he
Okay,
said
any
power
other-
and internet?
I think he said power and internet.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, that's what I got.
Any other items for discussion?
Are we going to forecast at some point in the future, we're going to talk about the fishing at the lakes? The gentleman isn't here this evening, but he's usually a regular attendee.
Yes, we met with the subcommittee 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and kind of discussed a plan moving forward. And so staff right now is working on that plan, and we'll take it back to the subcommittee before we kind of launch it to the public on what we like to do and all that. So it's a work in progress.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other items? You have before you on item 12, the board and commission minutes for the Board of Development for June 21st and August 4th. And at this time, the city council will be going to executive session. We do not anticipate a vote coming out of that, so this regular session of the Greenville City Council is closed tonight. Thank you for attending.
Good to see you.